The human ancestor used rules and regulations goo to recover strength goo, but wisdom goo escaped, leaving behind 3 goo bugs inside the net. They were suspicion goo, trust goo, and attitude goo. Ren Zu captured attitude goo, who then followed up on its bet, and submitted to him, saying,
"Human, you caught me. I can only curse my bad luck. From now on, I'm yours to use. Put me on and you will be able to use my ability."
Attitude goo's appearance was like a mask. Ren Zu put it on his face, but could not get it to stay. Even after he had tied it up with a string, it would still fall off.
What's going on?
I know. Human, you have no heart. Attitude is the mask of the heart, so without a heart, how can you wear me?
At that moment, the human ancestor realized that he had already given his heart to hope. He was now heartless. And heartless people could not wear the attitude mask. In other words, for people with hearts, their attitudes were their masks. The human ancestor had gained attitude goo, which was the mask of the heart, but without a heart, he could not put it on. He had already given his heart to hope goo, and from then on never had to fear the predicaments. However, if he wanted to use attitude goo, he needed to have a heart. Troubled by this, he asked,
Oh goo, sometimes, attitudes can say things that words can't. I'm facing a problem, you know? I need your advice.
This is not hard. Human ancestor. All you lack is a heart, so all you need to find is another one.
How can I find myself a new heart?
Intrigued, Ren Zu asked. Attitude goo sighed.
Heart is both nowhere and everywhere. Finding a heart is both hard and easy. With your situation, you can go get a heart now.
Quick, tell me, how?
The human ancestor was overjoyed, but attitude goo warned him.
This heart is called loneliness. Human, are you sure you want it? Once you get it, you will feel immeasurable pain, isolation, and dread.
The human ancestor did not listen to its warning, and he kept on with his request. Attitude goo could not defy, so it said,
You only have to stare at the sky on a starry night and say nothing. Once you reach daylight, you will have the heart of loneliness.
That night, the sky was filled with stars. Following attitude goo's instructions, the human ancestor sat alone on the mountain peak, staring at the night sky. Before, his life was difficult, constantly struggling to survive. He had no time to admire this beautiful yet mysterious starry space. As he looked at the glistening night sky, his thoughts began to wander. He couldn't help but think of himself, of how pathetic and weak he was, barely keeping up with the day by day. Such stupid existence.
Though I have hope goo, strength goo, rules and regulations goo, attitude goo, it is still extremely difficult to survive in this forsaken place. It would not be shocking if I were to die tomorrow. If I die, will the world remember me? Will it feel joy because of my existence? Will it feel sadness because of my death?
Thinking of this, Ren Zu shook his head. In this world, he was the only human. There wasn't anyone else. The goo were staying by his side, but he could still feel a feeling, creeping into his bones. Loneliness. The heart of loneliness. The human ancestor felt lonely for the first time, and his body now had a brand new heart. As the sun rose from the horizon, basking in its warmth, the human ancestor felt no happiness, only immense pain, desperation, confusion and fear. He could not endure this isolation and fear, seeing darkness and apocalypse wherever he looked. Screaming in agony, he gouged his fingers into his sockets and dug out his eyes. Ren Zu's left eye fell on the ground and turned into a young man. He was strong and with a head full of golden hair. He then knelt at the human ancestor's feet and said,
O human ancestor, my father, I am your oldest son, great son Verdant Yang.
At the same time, Ren Zu's right eye became a young girl, who held onto his hand and said,
O human ancestor, my father, I am your second daughter, ancient moon desolate yin.
Ren Zu laughed. There were tears flowing out from his empty sockets. He said good 3 times before continuing.
I have children now, I can finally endure the pain from the heart of loneliness. From now on, there will be people celebrating my existence and grieving for my death. Even if I die now, you will remember me. Only that.
In the end, he sighed.
I have lost both my eyes. I can no longer see light. From now on, you too shall observe this world for me.
In the legend, before Ren Zu died, he had sired 10 children. His oldest, great son Verdant Yang, his second ancient moon desolate yin. Among the 10, there was one named Northern Abyss Ice Soul. Ren Zu's legends, whether real or made up, were embedded with many secrets about Gu Master's cultivation. Ren Zu's 10 children individually represented 10 types of ultimate aptitudes. In Ren Zu's story, his 10 children did not live long, and conversely, in the real world, it was difficult for the Gu Master who held one of the 10 extreme physiques to mature. Almost all died of an untimely death. Of course, if they can really grow to become a rank 6, they will be able to sweep through same stage opponents and even perform miracles such as fighting someone of a higher rank.